Uh, so the symbols that we manipulate are always part of symbolic systems. There are no isolated symbols. Okay, it's not that microphone means this and red means this color in an isolated way. No, we have languages. There is the French, there is the Chinese, there is the Portuguese, and so on. Symbols are always part of symbolic systems. You don't have, for example, the bishop and in one place and the king in another place. No, we have the chess game, and all the pieces are part of the same symbolic system. Okay? Or it's not that we have. We can say the same for the religion. We can say the same for the economic symbols like money or checks and so on. So these symbolic systems are always given to us by the tradition, by the culture, by something like a community. Okay. So our ability to manipulate symbols is related to our participation to a culture, to a tradition. And what we do in my perception of things is that we are like processors, individual processors of a great social processing that is using particular symbolic systems. And we can do this only because we share these symbolic systems. For example, we are supposed to obey the same laws, or to sell and buy with the same money according to the same rules, and that's why we can do business. Or when we speak, we are using the same language and so on. So the whole functioning of the society is based on this fact that we are all using the same symbolic system, and that's why our collective intelligence is greater or bigger or more powerful than the collective intelligence of the animals. Of course, collective intelligence began with the ants, with the bees, and all social animals are more powerful than individual animals, and it's a great survival strategy to be social and to have a collective intelligence. So as social animals, we have the same kind of collective intelligence as the societies of apes, for example. But in addition, we have this ability to manipulate symbols and to transmit knowledge this way. So knowledge can be accumulated from generation to generation. There can be innovations, and we can learn progressively, generation after generation, to become more efficient and to reproduce more efficiently, and that's why we are so heavily transforming the planetary environment, because we are very successful in doing this. Well, so this linguistic ability gives us, let's say, 3 cognitive gifts. The first one being reflexivity. We are able to think about the way we think. And we are conscious, if you want. But when I say conscious, I don't mean that we can feel pain or pleasure, or that we really see something that is red or smell perfume of a rose and things like that. Animals are exactly like us in this regard. When I speak about consciousness, I mean reflexive consciousness. Okay? This is different. This is something that is purely human and that can occur only through language. And it is this reflexivity that helps us to ask questions or to realize that we don't know, because we are able to check our own cognitive processes. So we know that we don't know, we ask questions, and we can decide deliberately, consciously to learn, for example. Then there is the second gift, and it is the dialogue. Dialogue is very close to reflexivity, but instead of having a representation of one's own cognitive process, we can create representation of others' cognitive process. We can imagine what it is to be someone else. We can put ourselves in the shoes of someone else. This is the basis of dialogue. We try to understand the others, and we expect, sometimes wrongly, that they will try to understand us. But normally there is a kind of reciprocity, and everything works well when there is this reciprocity. Also, we can adopt some norms for the dialogue. For example, you are going to ask a question only when I will have finished my speech, or you are not allowed to say the word therefore if it is not in a real logical demonstration. So we adopt social norms for the dialogue that are purely social, like who is going to speak after who, but also we can adopt logical rules for dialogue, like in the scientific community, for example. You have to have, okay, logical reasoning, and you have to quote the people you are talking about, you have to put the exact references. All these are norms of dialogue. And finally, another thing that does not exist in the animal realm is narrativity, the ability to tell stories. An ordinary story, okay, this is the most simple. For example, I am able to isolate some actors, some particular actions, some particular qualities and properties, and I can describe a process of transformation that is occurring to this person through the action of this other person, and there is a kind of intertwining of causes and consequences, and I can describe this interconnection of lines of causes and consequences. So it's not only a literary game, it's also the way we are representing to ourselves our personal lives, but also our collective life, our national or ethnic history, but also it is the basis of any scientific knowledge, because scientific knowledge is just an improvement of this basic ability to tell stories. Okay? It's just a little bit more formalized, but it is still stories. Well, so this is symbolic cognition.